The Watts Riot. It all began in Watts, Los Angeles, California on August 11, 1965. A white officer named Lee Minicus pulled over an African-American driver, Margaret Fry, for suspicions of drunk driving. He had with him his brother, Ronald Fry. During the questioning of both men, the officer insisted that he was going to arrest them both for driving intoxicated. This was aggravating Margaret more and more. They intended to talk themselves out of being arrested, and a crowd gathered to watch what would happen between the officer and the two suspected drunk men. By this point, more officers were around the men, and Margaret Fry's mood had aggressively soured as his younger brother tried to talk the police out of towing their vehicle. The officers got annoyed, so an officer named Wayne Wilson took the men out of the car by serious force. Because of the officer's action, word had gotten to Mrs. Rena Fry that her sons were being treated with uncalled for disrespect, which appeared in the scene just early enough to see the first swings. Because the three members of the Fry family resisted arrest, they were taken away. Now, after the family was arrested, there was still a problem. What do you think the crowd was thinking? To have a party? I don't think so. Instead, they started shouting out things about the abusive white officers that were treating the blacks in a disgracing manner. One man, Gabriel Pope, even threw a bottle which hit the back bumper of one of the police officers' car. The second that bottle was broken, the Watts Race Riot of 1965. Public controversies. In this riot, there was one main public controversy. African Americans were not showed any respect from the law enforcement. To put it in a more detailed perspective, I'd say the problem was that any time a white driver committed a felony, they were not punished nearly as terrible as African American drivers. The African American drivers were beat and sometimes arrested for committing any kind of felony, and the only kind of punishment the white drivers received were fines. The African Americans were sometimes pulled over for no reason at all. They were pulled over just because the white officers wanted to arrest them by making an excuse up, such as a made-up felony that the African American apparently committed to them. They never wanted African Americans driving in the streets of Watts. This started a fight between the white law enforcement and the African American drivers and civilians of Watts, Los Angeles, California. Why this riot occurred? The reason this riot happened is because African Americans wanted to fight back, and so they did. They were just sick and tired of all the disrespect. This is a very significant event because this was one of the worst riots in history. It lasted for 5 days, August 11th to August 16th of 1965. This was a tragedy that had occurred that killed and injured many people and damaged and destroyed many buildings where the damage was worth millions of dollars. Houses had even caught on fire. This event had affected many people, businesses, and homes.
There were several people that were really involved in the start of this riot. The key people include Lee Minicus, Marquette Fry, Ronald Fry, Rena Fry, Wayne Wilson, and Gabriel Pope. These people were key people because they had a big effect on the riot. The Fry family was the ones who were arrested by the two officers, Lee Minicus and Wayne Wilson. This arrest then motivated the African Americans who were watching the arrest to start a riot against the white officers for cruel, unnecessary treatment and disrespect.
The ramifications of this riot were that the worse it became, the more people were killed or injured, the more buildings were damaged or destroyed, or the more jobs or homes were gone. There were various perceptions of African Americans than there were perceptions of white officers. The white officers found it right to disrespect the African Americans in all situations, while the African Americans, which I could see their perspective as right, that the white officers had no right to treat the African Americans in any way or form of disrespect. The white law enforcement was wrong. The African Americans were right, I think, in starting a riot. This riot showed proof to the law that the African Americans were capable of fighting back against whoever was wrong. How the whites treated African Americans was not at all showing democracy. And democracy was what the United States was supposed to represent, but they show no reason why they should be called a democracy based on how whites treated the African Americans. Do you think the legacy that this event left not only the United States to remember, but the whole world? The legacy was that when African Americans rise up against their oppressions, the whole world is affected in different ways. This was a legacy I believe many people around the world needed to learn, whether the people were racist or not. To add this legacy, people around the world also gained the knowledge that any time ethnic groups rise against their problems and troubles, will too join in fighting against the injustices and many problems in life that others serve them.